beautiful. Okay. I initially said my name is Robert. I think for those who didn't catch it, um, I'm a co-founder of R116 Solutions Limited. Basically, R116 Solutions Limited was founded in 2010. It is based in Uganda, running businesses in IT, mobile money services, SMS services, among others. Currently, uh, the sitting general manager couldn't join us for this call because I had to. I have a full-time job, but I also still see matters related to the company, but not very actively. So the sitting in GM is called Sheila. She couldn't join us for this call. So I work full-time for ThoughtWorks. That's where I work as a quality analyst. So I made FINEM, which you see the logo there, a non-profit, a non-for-profit organization, which is MFI, which started around 2008 as SEDA. So I knew them in 2010 before even the company, actually a little bit earlier than 2010 before the company started. And ever since I've been helping them with IT services, using Mifos, the old Mifos, deploying for them, training their users, and customizing it to their needs. So I did that for the last 4 years. And I've been in touch with FINEM, is a company that is a collaboration between Esther Hare and Amarapa Foundation in Switzerland. They reached a point when they wanted to scale and they couldn't scale any further with the current Mifos. So what they decided to do, they reached out to me and say, hey, is there a way you can help us? We understand there's Mifos X in the offing. What can it do? What can it not do? Can you give us an assessment to see whether this can be a good fit for us given we're scaling? So I did that towards the end of last year, actually the beginning of last year, and I gave them both sides of the coin, the old Mifos versus Mifos X. And then they decided, okay, what do we do? And I told them, well, you can mobilize resources to actually do a customized version of your own Mifos X because of the kind of architecture that Mifos X has been developed on. So then together, Esther together with the Amarapa Foundation put aside some money, initial money, and then they reached out to me again and said, okay, Robert, can you help us assemble a team that can help us to start the development? So I came in as Robert for being a contribution to FINEM, and then I put together a team which comprises of different developers across the globe, from India, a team from some contributors for Hacks for Humanity in Switzerland, in Australia. I put together a team from Ukraine, and then also another team from Portugal, another one from Romania. So most of these guys had to take half price to help out because I advocated for it, and I told them, look, this is for a good cause. Some of them actually came and said, okay, I will just contribute and help out. So we started development around mid-October last year, and now we are in user acceptance test. Actually, as I speak, 1 hour ago, I've been training the users here in Uganda on the new system, and we expected to actually roll on the first version of the system end of May 2015, and we're very excited about it. So before I go into the demo of the system, just to run through the basics, is there any question that I can take quickly? If not, I will just dive straight away into the demo.
I think you can go ahead and proceed with your demo.
Okay, I hope everybody's still with me. So I quickly just going to do this by running through the system. So for the sake of not giving lots of technical details, what you need to know is FINEM, during the assessment of Mifos X, they categorically told me of a few things that the old Mifos is not meeting. One of them is a fully fledged accounting feature, which has been lacking for them, and they really needed something that is more scalable in terms of the accounting practices. They also told me of the abundance of features in Mifos, which they actually don't need. But on the other side, there are features that they really, really need that the old Mifos cannot provide. So those are the key things, the key areas that we focus on. Another aspect is the usability. We wanted to make a system that is easy to use. The level of computer literacy for FINEM staff varies. So they're not really super literate in terms of computer. They just know the basic of the computer. So how can we design a system that will help them easily, navigate their way around without wasting a lot of time and effort? So we brought in a UX and an XD expert from India to help us map up a fairly simple user interface that they can actually use. So as you see on the screen is a login screen, a very simple login screen that they simply will go in and log into the system. When they log into the system, they simply go straight away into the dashboard. The dashboard is very important for them to see some sort of visualization of what is going on. Each one of these features on the dashboard is mapped to a given permission. Not everybody is supposed to see what is going on. Like portfolio at risk, active borrowers per loan officer, to just know how they're performing, due versus collected, and change in loan portfolio in current month, and other shortcuts that they can easily navigate their way around. And we also focus on the aspect of responsiveness. So the back end of this system is actually the Mifos X. The front end is what we actually develop on top of Mifos X. And this is responsive for iPad and all tablet screens and upwards. We didn't target smartphones simply because of the heaviness in the features. So when you browse this using an iPad, it's all responsive. When you use a tablet, Samsung, whatever tablet you have, Kindle, whatever you have, it's all responsive for that kind of screen. The focus were mainly on the clients. We wanted a UI that is going to center basically around the clients. How easy can we have everything centered around the client? The loans that we give to client, the client details and information that we create, the different operations that we do with the loans, like rejecting a loan, writing of a loan, rescheduling a loan, all that revolves around a given client. So we made a very simple interface where we have a list of clients with a very good search facility where they can actually search their client with ease. As you see, the layout of the pages in the system are all the same way, just to give them that flexibility and easiness to go their way around. We have also incorporated the capability of taking pictures. So as they're creating a new client, they can actually take a picture of the client and append it immediately using a camera. So that feature is already there. We gave them other rich features like if they want to view the details of the client, it should be just on the snap of their fingers, that they can actually do this with ease. We gave them the features, which is in trying to categorize the different sections of what they require from a client, additional client documents. All these features were already taken care of in Mifos X, and all we need was just to call. there were a couple of other things that we had to add to modify our version of Mifos X. Because we did not build this on the community Mifos X, we took our version in October and took another version that was updated in January. So that's the one you've been building on. So it's a little bit different from the community one because we added a bunch of other stuff. So that's there. We also spent time on the accounting where we design where they can flexibly do journal entries in the accounting. And as they do journal entries, they have the capabilities to do write-off. They can write off the entries. These are all features that were there in Mifos X. We just inherited them and did what we had to do. Other areas which we did strongly do is to modify what Mifos X has in terms of we have opening balance and the normal journal entries. Opening balance is something that is not there in Mifos X, so we added that API ourselves. We also, the area of the definition of products, we also had to come up with a clever way of how we can handle penalties because we realized that how Mifos X does it might not suit them here because they have varying ways of how they compute the penalties. So we did that under charges, as you can see, like late payment interest. We tweaked that a bit to make sure it is compatible with what FINEM wants. We spend more time in polishing the Mifos X accounting. As you can see, the screen actually looks all more of the same as Mifos X UI, but actually there's variation because we had to add other things like under expenses, we split that down into principal written off, LPI written off, interest written off, and fees written off. And we cleaned up things to do with equities. We don't have it anymore on this, and liabilities. We also did quite some substantive amount of work in notifications because FINEM does a lot of notification work in regards to they want to send SMSs to the existing client about their payments. They want to send SMSs to their clients thanking them for the payments. They need to receive email, the loan officers for follow-up, and SMS and email notification. So we did quite a lot of work in that area, which actually makes it more flexible. And by doing that, we did create a number of jobs that we can actually run in the background to do all these sort of things. We also focus on refining the loans, as you can see, the loan statuses, playing around with the different loan statuses, and also the visualization of the loan details, as you can see. We polish up a few things here and there to make sure it is meeting the standards that they want, plus a bunch of other things that we did. The pattern is almost similar to the Mifos X UI, but there are quite other things that we incorporated that it's not there in Mifos X. But the foundation was already laid out in Mifos X, and it made our work a little bit more easy. Also, reporting is what we did, especially the accounting reporting. We made sure the Mifos X actually has a lower version of Pentaho reports. We maintained the Pentaho and did an upgrade to the Pentaho reports. And Joseph, who is on the call, has been the master behind the reporting. He has done extensively well to modify some of the existing Mifos reports, but also creating a bunch of other reports that are specific to FINEM. There are certain reports that are not there in Mifos X, so Joseph had to work our way around to create them. Generally, we took care of things that were not part of Mifos X. We removed things that are not needed by FINEM, like savings and group lending. They're not important. For FINEM, for now, we removed that. We concentrated our effort in polishing the accounting. That's why we included things like the financial year, closing year, ending year, and stuff like that for posting, which incorporates the aspect of audit, if the auditors coming to audit, the operations and the books of account. We did substantial amount of work to make sure we cover that. And lastly, to make sure we have a system that is user-friendly, very simple, and easy to navigate. So yeah, so this is the run-through of what we're doing for FINEM, and we hope to roll on end of May, so that we have the whole of June to run the system in parallel.
I'm going through the trail of message.
Sorry? All right, Dane, I'm done.
Yes.
Okay, I think this is absolutely beautiful. Does anyone on the call wish to ask any questions or comment?
Yes, I have a few questions to ask.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, Sam, we'll let you go with your
hello.
questions, and then I think
Okay,
Mark had a question after Sam. Okay.
Okay, then let Mark off first, and I will ask later.
Okay, so this is Mark. I just want to say thank you. It looks amazing in terms of what you put on top of Mifos X. I guess one question would be in terms of timing and just how long it took to actually do this level of development on top of it. I mean, my own perspective is it would probably be the opposite of what you did, which would be from my own MFI, what we're trying to put together would be around savings, cooperatives, and shares. So it seems like some of those things are coming in Mifos as a platform. So we're thinking that we might have to do that development. So the timing of how long something like this took is important to us.
Okay. As I said, development was started in mid-October, and we did an extensive amount of time, actually until end of October, to gather information from FINEM. Am I still there?
Yes.
Yeah. To gather information from FINEM and documenting them, and then we rapidly started development around 1st of November last year. As I said initially, we did not have a dedicated team that is going to dedicate like 8 hours every day or more. We had teams split all over the world who are willing to contribute. So someone would say, okay, I will give you maybe 5 hours in a week, and then they start that. Another one will say, okay, I can do 20 hours in a week, So it varied, and that's why it actually took us some time to do it. Secondly, the domain knowledge took us a while. Each team that tried to join on, first of all, they needed to understand what the system is supposed to do. They needed to understand the financial space. So we took some time to educate them, to show them, the basic banking, the basic lending, just the basic info about the domain. And then that will take maybe a week or two. And then when they get it, then they start doing the work. And sometimes we run into the problem that something is not working in the API in the Mifos X back end. We reach out to Mifos support, and it would take maybe a day or so, especially Viswash has been very helpful. So we would send things and it would reach out back to us. Because of the time zone differences, it would take us almost like over 24 hours to get a response. Then we continue from there. So yeah, do you see what you're saying? Actively development was from November through to date. We stopped active development at the beginning of this month, the beginning of April. So that means actual development was November, December, January, February, and March, 5 months of active development, but of varied time allocations. They were not all consistently giving us the time that we would have wished to. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yes, and how many active developers were, just to round out the picture, time?
The ones that gave us more than 20 hours in a week actually ended up to be 2. We had a guy in Portugal, and on the 7th of next month, I think we're going to have a developer talk, and they will join up. He's going to join up. He's been very active as a senior developer. And we had another one in Ukraine who was giving us at least 30 hours a week. So those were the 2 core developers on the system. The rest were just giving us bits and pieces here and there. And the UX started by the visual design, did the visual design and the user experience, then stopped in the middle. We picked it up and started transforming the visual design into the UI. Then we had a UI developer who joined us 3 weeks ago and did extensively for 2 weeks, giving us 20 hours a week. So that's it. And for me, I've been coordinating. I've been doing the QA work, I've been doing the BA work, I've been doing the PM work. And Esther, who is the co-founder of FINEM, was playing the role of a product owner. And the whole process was agile. We were managing our issues through Jira. They would pick up cards and develop, and the features, when a story is done, we pick it up, test it. If it's not ready, we push it back. Esther would come in and test it, and then we keep moving. So yeah, 2 active developers, and the rest were just seasonal.
Charles, I just talk like that. 1 or 2 meetings up there.
Someone needs to mute.
Okay.
These are no people.
Okay, what's going on?
And who had the
Yep.
next? There we go. Our next question?
Sam, you're unmuted now, so you
Yes,
should be able to ask
so-
your question.
Yeah. Okay. So how do this system deal with the multi-currency? Is it okay to use multi-currency?
Yeah, perfect. This is a great question, man. One of the roadblocks that we hit was to handle multi-currency. So we reached out to the API in Mifos X, and we couldn't move further. I'll give a very simple example where FINEM is a non-for-profit. All the money coming in is coming in through donation from either Meropa or from Esther. They send the money in US dollars. The money reaches Uganda, has to be converted to Ugandan shillings. And we're supposed to do journal posting in Uganda shillings, which is a local currency. So what we decided to do was to create an aspect of, if you go to our chart of accounts, our chart of accounts looks a little bit different in terms of the feature compared to Mifos X's. We created an aspect of currency of trading for each of our GL accounts. So when we create a GL account, let's say this bank expense account, we predefine what kind of currency it is going to trade in. So when we come to posting in our journal entries here, we have the flexibility to do cross posting of different currencies. In that case, the exchange rate is actually taken care of in the back end by the system. And all our reportings are done in the local currency, but we can do posting across multiple currencies.
Okay. That's really good.
Yeah. We also have exchange rates here captured. Every month, if you want, you can capture the exchange rates. So these are all new things that we didn't get from Mifos X, but we had to work our way around.
Okay. I think in the developer meeting last week, Mifos may have to do it. So maybe they may see your system and get some idea from you.
Yeah, definitely.
And the other question is that is there any requirement to make a loan provision or reclassification at Uganda For example, let me explain you a bit more detail. For example, let's say that one client they pay the loan late for, let's say, 100 days. So is there a requirement to make a provision for that loan, or to do the loan reclassification from standard loan to a substandard loan at Uganda?
I don't think I get what you're saying, but
okay. Okay, so for example, let me give you an example. Let's say that we give a loan to a customer, Mr. A, for $100. And okay, so it is called standard loan. Let's say that on the repayment that the customer did not show up and make a payment, and the day due is, let's say that 100 days, the customer still not yet pay the money back. Yes. So yeah, in this case, if we for accounting, we have to make some provision on the loan. It means that we can say that the loan we may not recover the loan back, so we have to make some loss on the loan. And this is for the accounting concept. Okay, and you know, and for some country like in Cambodia, there is a regulation from National Bank that requires this kind of loan to reclassify from standard loan to substandard loan, and we have to make some law on the loan. It is the requirement, and I just want to know, is there any kind of requirement in Uganda to do the loan provision and loan reclassification like what I just mentioned?
Oh, not in the context of FINEM. What FINEM does is somebody goes overboard without paying money. They either try to recover the money from the guarantor, or if the guarantor doesn't come through, then they write off the loan. They simply just write off. What you're seeing in front of you is actually an example of loan that had gone bad. After computing all this, the late payment interest, as you can see, still they had to write off the loan because it was just not possible. Now, when somebody after writing the loan comes back, our system actually allows them to undo the loan write-off. Then you can remake the payment.
I see. So it's mean that we write it over 100% of the loan late, right?
According to FINEM, that's what they do. I'm not quite sure about the other financial institutions, how they handle it. But in the context of FINEM, this is what they do. They write over 100% of the loan.
Okay, I see. Maybe perhaps because of FINEM is the non-profit organization, and that's why they do it.
Yeah.
And I have one other question related to it. You know, it is what Mifos doesn't have. So I just want to ask you if you have the kind of feature in your system. It's related to the repayment method. So okay, let's say that one client wants to pay the money back flexibly. Let's say that I want to pay like 3 months. Every 3 months I pay interest and the principal every 3 months. So can it be in this system?
No. You don't have that.
You don't have. You don't have that, right? Okay.
No, we don't have. And again, I don't think FINEM does it. So yeah, we don't have it.
Okay. That's it from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
And then Robert, Marcus, he wasn't on the. Marcus had a question around what UI framework are you all using?
Oh yeah, we're using AngularJS.
Okay, so you were using. Okay.
And we had a debate.
First version or the second version?
We started with the first version and upgraded to the second.
Okay. Oh, great.
Yeah.
And you said you had a debate on.
Yeah, we had a debate between AngularJS and Play framework. So we chose AngularJS because of primarily two reasons. One, the first lot of developers who were readily available were more familiar with AngularJS than Play framework. Secondly, we also discovered that AngularJS is more extensively used as opposed to Play framework. But also, we also realized that the current Mifos X UI is on AngularJS, so it doesn't hard to see one or two things that are being done on Mifos X and then transform it here. That's why it was easy for us to implement features like this. I'll just simply show you quickly. Features like where you can do this.
And let me make you the presenter again.
Oh, okay.
Or well, your screen's not. Okay, maybe. Oh, sorry. Is everybody else able to see Joseph's screen? Or I mean Robert's screen? Okay, perfect. Yeah. For some reason I thought your screen wasn't being shown. Okay, go right ahead, Robert.
Yeah. So these are ideas that we borrowed from Mifos X UI, and it was easy for us to implement because already there was an existing code that does that.
Okay. And was there a like CSS framework or package you've used, or is this all custom that you've done?
We did CSS. CSS is for the styling, and we did Bootstrap for the responsiveness.
Okay.
As I said, our responsiveness was targeting iPad and tablets upwards.
And then one question, other question I had, Robert, like for both FINEM and yourselves, like what are your plans? Do you have plans to share any of this back with the community or offer this version of the application to other customers? What are your plans for beyond FINEM?
I did speak with Esther prior to this, and she's very well okay with it because this is a community effort, and we will work through to make sure we put a version out there with a source code where anybody can just fork it and then use it the way they want. So yeah. So we'll have a version for the community, which the community can pick it up and do whatever they want to do with it.
Okay, no, that's great. Well, thank you to you and Esther for the generosity, and this is really wonderful work, and you've done an amazing job assembling that distributed team to pull this all together, Robert. I'm impressed, and yeah, really, I wasn't expecting to see such a completely different and polished system, and it'd be good later on, Robert, if you get a chance, if you could send just an overview of what the major features were that you had to build into the platform, because I know some of the items like the opening balances, I think that's something the core team is currently working on as well, and it'd be interesting to see what you've done for the currency exchange. And so just getting a list of the features you added in and the features you also had to remove would be very beneficial for our product team to see and understand.
Sure, we'll do that.
Dana, do you want to see if anybody else had? Oh, and then
we have
Robert,
one last question.
Yeah, one question. Did you see it in the chat from Srinivas?
Okay, let me see it. Okay. From this is Yedida?
Yeah.
Okay, option to importing clients importing in the sense of like importing the clients from Excel? Is he around? Oh, no. We don't have that feature for importing. And well, hold on a second. We can export, but we cannot import. Let me just run through. If you go to each of our tables and grids, we have a feature to export in PDF and Excel. Simply just here. So, but we don't have the capability to import. We can export but not import.
Okay. If we don't have any more questions, I'd like to thank everyone and I invite you to stay on for a few moments. The people from FINA has developed a Android app, and they would like to give us a really quick show of it. So I will thank you and then pass the controls along.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
again,
much.
Robert and Joseph. So.
Thank
Yeah,
you
this
so
is
much.
really very good.
Oh, Tengiz, I've made you the presenter and you're unmuted as well. So.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, I see the Android emulator now.
Yep. Okay, so for the people who don't know what we're doing, I'll say a couple of quick words. So basically, we are developing a grant management system for Laos. It's basically a couple of NGOs came together and decided to help the families in need, and they are giving them monthly grants, and they need a Android app for that because they are going out in the field, into the villages to give money to people, and they are going to be offline. So we developed a really simple Android app for that using Mifos, a stripped down version of Mifos as a backend. We use savings accounts as the means to bind clients to balances, and they have balances, and when the transactions happen on the Android client, they get uploaded once the field officer goes online, and then you can export data from the Mifos. So I will just quickly show what we have done here. So basically, for example, let's take this village. It has several clients, and you can see that this guy doesn't have balance. Let's give him some money. And now we go to the Android app. This is how it looks like. We enter our credentials and we click download data, which will take the needed data, clients and accounts, and it will write it to the Android device so we can later use it offline. So some kind of a problem. I think my IP has changed. Let me check real quick. Yep, now it's downloading. Now it takes some time because we have about 200, 300 clients there, along with pictures and stuff. Yep, so we have synchronized the device. Now we can go offline and just log into the system. The first thing we see is the list of villages. We are using groups as villages, so every village has a group in Mifos bound to it, so let's choose the Fuang village. And we have a small little dashboard here that says that we have 6 clients in this village, and number of clients left means number of clients with positive balances. We can see the list here. And in order to make a transaction, we will need to scan the barcode because every client, as a way of identification, he has his own barcode. So You can probably see me here in the dark. So let me just try and scan this. Okay. Oops, something is wrong. Oh, yeah, it was a wrong one. So once again. This thing doesn't like me. It accepts printed barcodes much better, but mm, come on. Oh. So it has found the client with that ID. Now the system wants us to enter the client PIN as a way of the client accepting the transaction. So we enter the PIN, and this is the information of the client. We see he has the amount of 100,000. We can withdraw and the system asks us if we want to withdraw the whole amount. We say yes. And now for every transaction, a village authority, who is either someone from the village or a guy that NGO sends to confirm transactions, he has his own PIN as another measure of security. So we enter that, and transaction completed successfully. So we have made one transaction, and we have number of clients left in the village is 4 now. So now we can upload data to the server, and system tells us that there are some clients who did not get the money, and if we really want to log out, we say yes, and now we must choose the reasons why these people did not get the money. So let's say they did not show up. And now it's uploading to the server, and export completed successfully. So now if we go to Mifos, we find the village and the client with the ID of 30101. We can see that his balance is 0 now, and the transaction was made. And basically that's how it is. And later they have some reports. There are payment lists, and for example, this will have all the transactions made, like thousands of them. And later the client information is received by an XML, and when this whole process is over, once the transactions are uploaded, they must receive another XML that is done from here, and you can see that it tells us to download the file, and it looks about something like that. So it has the ID, the amount of transactions, the name of the field officer who made the transactions, and other information that will be sent back to the NGOs. So yeah, that's about it. So if you have any questions, I will answer gladly. So yeah, okay, if no one has any question, then I'm done, I guess.
So no more questions for Tengiz? Okay, well, thank you, Tengiz, for doing that demo. It's really coming along nicely there, and it would be nice to, yeah, do a post to our blog to recap, once you're ready to do that, to share this, and then it's good to have this offline functionality in the Android
sure.
app, and it'd be interesting to see how easy it would be to start to extend it to some of the other, services beyond just the savings accounts.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a question.
Yep. Okay.
Robert, here I have a question. I might have missed it, but so this Android app, can you do whatever you're doing from the app offline?
Yeah,
right?
it's offline because these guys are going to the field in Laos. It's pretty remote, so they won't have internet.
Okay. I think this is really nice. This is very good.
Yep, thank you very much.
Hey, this is Mark. Will this example or code also be shared back with you as well?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Tengiz, did you catch Mark's question? Like, is FINA planning to share this code base and prototype back with the community as well?
I think we can't share all of it because of our contracts, but we will be definitely sharing some of it, or at least you can always reach me if you need some functionality, and we'll work something out on one, or I could help you implement the same stuff we did. So it's definitely can be done.
Yeah, and Mark, we at the core team level are also working to incorporate more offline functionalities into the Android client as well, based on some of the learnings and the design we've, like FINA's team has taken up. So. Okay, well, thanks again, Tengiz, for the demo. And then I'll we'll just wrap up in just a moment. So let me make myself the presenter again.
Thanks everyone for taking your time.
Okay, so first off, a thank you to Robert and his team for the demonstration, and thank you, Tango, for once again showcasing the FINA work. And then just gonna once again have one more call for topics. So if you're interested in giving a presentation or a showcase on an upcoming meeting, please reach out to Dana or any of us on the users list to let us know that you'd like to do a talk or a presentation. Next meeting, we have Mike from Swordfish Technologies, now also known as Terracom Consulting Group, who's going to be presenting on his experiences. So please be in touch if you'd like to share your story. Okay, and I think that's it for today as we've come to the end of the meeting. But thank you everyone for bearing with the technical difficulties, and we'll get a screencast of the session sent out as well as notes in just a little bit of time.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Dana, for organizing this.